Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we have the Knight of Cups. This is somebody who is very kind. I feel like you have a really good heart. I feel like you're a giver. I feel that you probably do volunteer work or charitable work, or you pay it forward. I feel like you're always giving. This card is about the giving and receiving of love and affection, the random acts of kindness. I feel like you're the one that's saying hi to people, and I don't know, I feel like when you're out in the world, you're brightening everybody's day in some way, you know? I feel like you're somebody that sort of follows your heart. And, you're sort of I don't know, it's almost like a metal detector, that when your heart starts to feel really, really good, that's the direction that you need to keep going. Yeah. And so I feel that we're going through life, and we have our heart out in front of us, and when our heart starts to really glow, we know we're onto something, and we're going to continue down that path. And so I feel like we're seeking out experiences that really make our heart feel good, and we're not talking just the emotions, like value, how do I feel right now? Am I good or bad? I think it's what really resonates with you is that we're seeking out those experiences that make our heart kind of glow. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. This is the card of passion. This is the card of love and affection. This is the card of, pursuing the Holy Grail, right? We have the Seven of Pentacles. I think you are spreading your joy and your love where it is needed the most. Okay. We have the Hanged Man. We have the Sun. We have the Fool. We have a Princess of Pentacles. I feel like you're a healer. I feel like you're a heart healer. Yeah. Here we have, look at that. It just came out double with our Ten of Cups. It is the Devil card. It is your superpower card. And I think this is kind of an authenticity in a way. This is a real perseverance, a real endurance. I feel like the very best qualities of yourself are being given out into the world. And I think you're filled with such love. You have a Ten of Cups as your general energy. That's amazing, right? We don't see that. We have the Seven of Cups, and we have the Eight of Swords. I think your destiny feels like it is through the heart pathway, not through the mind pathway. And so it may be that you've been really like a logical thinker in your life. You've been very sort of left-brained. You've been following your head more than anything in life, And I think maybe we see that sometimes our head gets us into trouble, that our head sometimes gets us into a really swampy feelings, And I think now you're kind of learning to trust not so much the intuition, but trusting your passion. Trusting whatever areas of life, it's kind of like you're looking at a whole bunch of options on the table, and you're looking at them. You're not thinking, well, which choice is going to be better for me? Which one do I think will be good? You're kind of looking at each one and saying, how does my heart feel about that? About that one, about that one, about that one. And you'll know when you look at that one option that your heart sort of glows, right? I feel a real light inside of you. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it over here with our little sea turtle friend right on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay, let's use not our intuition, but what does your heart tell you right now, okay, about that card? Anyway, let's look around the room. We see major, major, and major. 4 majors, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 majors. I feel that you're really freeing yourself from something, right? You got the freedom of the Fool. You've got the surrender of the Hanged Man. I think that you are. I think that you've really seen the benefit of. Well, let me put it this way: you've seen a lot of suffering in your life. And I think that has, instead of making you like a bitter person or making you cynical, I feel like the suffering that you've seen in your life or that you've endured has turned you into like a lover, has really turned you into somebody that wants to heal. I feel like, I don't know, maybe you're going into some kind of counseling or healthcare or mental health or some kind of emotional healing, energy work. Because I feel like you don't want anyone else to go through what you've been through. Okay? I think you're following your heart, you're going where you are needed the most, and you're making a difference in the world. And that seems to be your destiny. Follow your feeling, follow your deepest soul feeling in life. Okay? In the background, we've got the Sun card. I feel like this is here as yesterday's energy because there was a time in your life where you had to turn your light down. Something was going on in your past, maybe as a child, that was dimming your light. Maybe it's the idea that even, I don't know if it was so much emotionally, but there's the emotional component. I'm kind of feeling like you had a really serious illness when you were a kid. There was some kind of a serious threat to your health when you were little, and you overcame that. Now, whether this was through the work of somebody else, some bad characters, or if it was literally like an illness or something, I feel like something sort of dimmed the light. Almost to the point where we thought, or maybe people around you thought that the light was going to go out. But it surged back. Okay? And to me feels like a near-death experience. Okay? This feels like a moment when you sort of and maybe it wasn't all that long ago. As more sort of energy is coming in, it feels like maybe it wasn't that long ago that we had a near-death experience that showed us what was truly important to us. Showed us a different way of being. It's kind of like you saw the light, in a way. And now you realize that we should be operating from that spiritual heart and not from just our competitive, intellectual, logical mind. Yeah? Because as we look around the room, we see our 4 majors. We don't see any fire, first of all. Okay? Because the fire is conflict. The fire is coercive action. The fire is this very yang energy, but what we got is more of a yin energy, more of a going with the flow kind of energy, right? So it's more Wu Wei, it's more Taoist here. It's not so Confucian, right? It's not so structured and ordered, and it's not so rigid and defined and fixed and disciplined. It's not so cultivated. It's not so cultured. It's raw. It's raw emotion. So you'd make a very good like artist or poet or writer. You've got this raw emotional energy about you. And I think you're using that maybe to motivate others, to inspire others, to heal others. Okay? And maybe you're healing through art and poetry and things like that, right? And so anyway, then what we see is a very little bit of air energy. And that's your destiny is to untangle knots. I feel like you're a person that like you like to like literally with like string, you like to untangle things, right? Like when you have a bunch of string or Christmas lights or something, like it's kind of meditative to pull those strings apart, to try to unravel the knots, yeah? It could be that you're doing some kind of past life work, or that you are taking your near-death experience and your understanding, you're trying to bring like a message to others, a message of love and healing. Yeah, because this Knight of Cups is really trying to offer something to the world. And I don't know if it's through art or poetry or music or through healing directly or or energy work or kind of motivation or spreading a message of love and compassion, okay? I feel like that's your work right now, especially with that Seven of Pentacles, because you're going where you're most needed, right? You're not preaching to the choir. You're out there, giving your services to the people that really need it. You're not just reinforcing the things that are already pretty good. You're finding those things that are kind of the darkest corners of life, and that's where you're going. It's kind of like it's like a Doctors Without Borders kind of vibe. You're going where you're needed. And you're doing that good work of the heart. Okay? That's profound here. It really, truly is. So we have our majors. We don't have any fire. We've got, obviously, water and water energy. And even the Hanged Man is this watery energy, very yin energy. You have a little bit of air, and that's the one thing that it is your destiny to sort of, it's your destiny to heal people, not necessarily through arguments or convincing or through logic, but through love. Love over logic kind of thing here, right? And of course we see our earth energy, which is kind of going from where things are not growing and bringing life back to things. Okay, you could be literally doing like Habitat for Humanity kind of stuff or something along those lines, right? Because I feel like we're kind of we're being of service. We're acting out of love, and we're building something up that really needs to be built up. Okay, we could be doing this locally in our own life, finding our own sort of weaknesses, finding our own darkness, our own sore spots, our own buttons, our own triggers, our own knots of karma, and we're doing that healing work on ourselves. Okay, it's kind of maybe you got to put your own oxygen mask on first before you put anyone else's oxygen mask on. But I feel that by extension you are helping others. It may be more direct than that, maybe kind of in your community or your neighborhood, or extending to your family or to the world at large, the universe at large. Okay. Now, because we have a Fool card here, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. The Fool likes to straddle the line between wisdom and folly. And the I Ching loves to point out how we have been foolish and how we must become wise. So I think these two fit in perfectly. The Fool is the ultimate Taoist, right? But it's kind of like, you'll meet a Taoist or like a Zen master or something, and you don't know if they're just like a fool or if they're really like a sage, because they act the same. A fool and a sage are pretty much going to act the same, right? It's going to be hard to tell them apart just by their actions until you realize the depth and the profundity of their beliefs or of their awareness, maybe, right? Their clarity. Yeah. So anyway, let's choose a hexagram from the I Ching. Just going to go through into the center here, and we've got 26, the Great Taming. Constancy bears fruit, not eating at home, good fortune. It's fruitful to cross the great river. Not eating at home. Okay? That means that you are extending yourself beyond your own particular borders. Okay? That you're extending yourself. You're extending the courtesy, you're extending the hand, you're offering the heart. So you're going outside of your own house. You're not just worried about, you're not eating at home, you're out there sharing the meal with others. Maybe you're doing something with cooking or food service or something, right? Rainbows are very important to you, or the double rainbow, or is there something about a rainbow? I don't know if you see one now, or if it's some kind of a tattoo or a piece of art or something like that. But it's that sort of the prismatic refraction of light that's forming the colors right now. Maybe it's something shining through your window, or it's some kind of a stained glass thing that's giving a rainbow projection. Yeah, but a rainbow is a significant symbol for you right now at this time. Okay? I think that you've helped someone a lot more than they ever realized or acknowledged, but you're okay with that. You're not doing it for the return. I think you even maybe I don't know if you donate to something anonymously, but it's like you don't want the recognition. Or you don't care about the recognition, anyway, I should say. But back to the hexagram, the Great Taming. Constancy bears fruit, not eating at home is good fortune. Fruitful to cross the great river. The great river is this. This is a toxic river of suffering. Okay? You could be doing something like substance abuse counseling or something along those lines. Okay, I can see you kind of being maybe part of the recovery scene, right? Potentially, because crossing this great river is going to be fruitful for you. And maybe this is a way of us giving back. Maybe somebody has really helped us in our life to sort of restore our vitality at some point in our past, and now we're paying that forward. Okay. The great taming. Taming means building up and controlling natural resources and nurturing their growth with an eye on what can be achieved in the future. Well, that's exactly this, right? The Seven of Pentacles, looking at what needs to be built up and building it up. Looking at where there needs to be a garden or some kind of growth and working on that growth. We're not going and putting in work, in some area that's already doing fine. We're finding those areas that aren't doing so well when we're building those up, right? We're building up the small. We're taming we're building up and controlling natural resources and nurturing their growth with an eye on what can be achieved in the future. Steady persistence over time will yield good results. You can now move beyond mere survival. Nourish yourself on new experiences and allow your gifts to be of greater service. How can you make the most of the potential, and how would it be to master this? Allow your gifts to be of greater service. You're not putting your gifts where they aren't needed. You're not going to be offering yourself to some fund that's already well stocked. You're going to where there's the greatest need, and you're putting in the service there, right? That's really pretty close to what we've already been talking about, right? The Hanged Man underneath, this is again that idea of being of service. We're yielding, we're yin energy. We're going where we're needed the most, and we're not trying to actively control anything necessarily. I know the I Ching says controlling the resources, but I think it's about directing our own inner resources and being of service, yielding, and even sacrificing. Yeah, sacrificing. Not eating at home, which means we're out there in the world and we're eating with others, spending time with others, sharing food with others, sharing energy with others. Okay, so the Hanged Man is our willingness to be of service. Yeah, and we talked about the Sun card, which I think was that incident in your past that kind of prompted you or initiated this path for you. Because again, it feels like there was that, what I'm calling a near-death experience or something similar, where our light was dimming and something happened. I don't know if you were visited by an angel, a guardian angel in the form of a physical person that sort of came and helped to lift us out of that bad place, or if it was a non-physical entity, kind of a divine, a non-physical angel that helped to lift you out of that bad space. But that was the catalyst for now the work you're doing currently. Okay. And we have, of course, the Princess of Pentacles in the future position, because this is kind of like seeing the potential in other people, helping other people to recognize their potential. The Princess of Pentacles is very often going to transform into the Empress, right? Right now, it looks like people are in a bad way. It's dull, it's sterile, it's barren, it's cold, it's lifeless, right? The verdant energy is gone. There's no green, there's no life here. Through your love, through your devotion, your service, your gift, you're bringing the life back into this. So you're restoring something, building something back up. This is somebody that's kind of at their worst, and you're offering yourself to people in order to lift them back up into their potential. Okay, and so we could be again part of the recovery scene. Maybe it's more physical rehabilitation. Maybe it's mental or emotional healing. Maybe it's energy work. But you're looking to restore the vitality, because right now this looks kind of dry and it looks dead, right? You're putting the verdant energy back into this. You're not doing the healing, but you are activating energies in other people that allow them to heal themselves, right? Now, on the path of the serpent, we have the Ten of Cups. This is absolute fulfillment. This is satiety. This is, we're overflowing with this love energy, with this healing spiritual water energy. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. The Ten of Cups is saying that the more you give of your gift, the more you are of service, the more you have to give. The more you love, the more you can love, right? The more we give, the more we receive. It's very Taoist. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if you're a big proponent of the I Ching or the Tao Te Ching, or you study Eastern philosophies. The more you use it, the more there is to use. It never becomes exhausted. Okay, and so we're never feeling depleted. Right? You're out here giving and giving and giving, but somehow you're being more and more enriched. So there's more love in you. The more you use it, right, the more there is building up in us. And so it really is an infinite sort of supply of compassion, of love, of empathy. We've got to be careful with empathy because we don't want to take on too much of the toxic energy of other people. As we try to, like the empath or the energy worker, trying to filter out the negative energy from others, filter it through ourselves, some of it can accumulate in us, and we need to be careful with that. That's one of the reasons we have the Seven of Cups here, because we don't want to, in our effort to heal others, we don't want to take on that sickness, or we don't want to take on that negative energy. Okay? I think that you are able to take that energy into you, take the negative energy into you and purify it. But just like any kind of a purification system, eventually the filters are going to get dirty and they're going to need to be replaced. So just be sure you give yourself enough of a break when you need it. Make sure that you take care of yourself as often as you can. Okay? Spirit's saying that you're a big tea drinker, that you have kind of a whole process or like a ritual of making your own tea and brewing your tea and steeping it and drinking it and things like this. I feel like you've always been someone who's longed for deeper connections, right? That you're okay with loneliness. If the connections aren't there, you're not going to force them. That you're okay with being by yourself as long as you have the opportunity. Like you're willing to leave things behind in order to go pursue the deeper connections of life. Yeah. The Seven of Cups that we see in the position of the obstacle or the great river that we have to cross. And this is, when you're out here doing this work and being of service and doing this, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, this charitable work or this healing work, you're going to see a lot of bad things, a lot of negative things. We think of a doctor or an EMT or something that is out there being of service and working toward, helping to heal people and help people. They see a lot of bad stuff, They see a lot of bad stuff. And I feel like so do you, and maybe it's just energetically, maybe literally. I feel like we have to be careful with that. We have to find those things in life that we need to do in order to release some of that. And that's part of our Fool energy up here too, because the Fool, big fat zero, nothing sticks, right? The Fool, everything in one ear and out the other. So the Fool is really the filter of experience. But the filter that kind of just lets everything pass through, doesn't accumulate anything. It's like the filter that never gets clogged. So I think that this is kind of a renewal for you. This is, to me, this feels like a journey where you're kind of, to me, the Fool is like the feather on the wind. Wherever the wind blows, it's just going to like float down and go there. So it's kind of like we aren't trying to make any conscious, logical, ego decisions for life. We're trying to just say, like, Spirit, tell me where I should go. Tell me, like, or the heart, right? Show me, like, where I need to take my energy right now. And so I feel that you're sort of always ready to just sort of pick up and go where you're needed, right? The Fool is the wanderer. The Fool never eats at home, right? Like the I Ching says, not eating at home is going to be good fortune. So that's the Fool, always wandering, always in search of novelty, always in conjunction with the Hanged Man. always looking for those new opportunities to be of service, going where we're needed, becoming who we need to become in the context of whatever circumstances we're in. Yeah. And this is, again, kind of that energy that is trying not to take on too much of that negative energy that we might be absorbing from other people or filtering out. So it's kind of that, again, an injunction, I'd say, to make sure that you replace your filter every once in a while. Make sure that you do things that will help you to purge away that negative energy so that we don't become diminished by it. The self-care stuff is very important for you in order for you to keep doing the work you're doing in life. Okay. The Eight of Swords at the very end here, that's the complexity. We're looking for simplicity. You might be a minimalist. We don't want a lot of analysis. We don't need the reasons why. We don't need the logic. We don't need all the whole web of thoughts and justifications and arguments and convincing. It's just, we're going for simplicity. We're trying to live a simple life, you know, where spirit sort of moves us where we need to be, and we don't need to investigate everything. You know, it's kind of saying that we're looking to not need to understand everything, to do what we feel compelled to do without having to get any kind of justification or any reasons why. Yeah, trying to go more heart-led than head-led. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card, shall we? I don't know, maybe Empress. Maybe some good water energy, maybe, a 6. I think a 6 of Cups would be very nice. A 6 of Pentacles. The Empress would be good because we have our Princess of Pentacles, right? So maybe Empress. Let's see. The 4 of Pentacles. Well, this sometimes is the card of eating at home, right? So maybe this means that sometimes we have to stay in and fortify ourselves. Sometimes we have to go home and rest and kick our feet up and allow our energy to be renewed a little bit, physically. I think your spiritual energy is infinite, but your physical energy, we might have to make sure that we sort of go home every once in a while, that we do these periodic check-ins with ourselves, because this is a card of trying to preserve what we have and what we are. Yeah. And sometimes I think we have to, as much as we're of service to others and we're helping others, sometimes we do have to focus locally. Okay. The 4 is a card of safety and stability, integrity, acceptance, about good habits, good routines. And I think that if we have a good self-care routine and a good personal sort of health routine, we'll be able to continue this path for as long as you want, right? But we don't want to deplete ourselves. We don't want to get into a place again where we feel our vitality is dimming. So you're out here and you're confronted with a lot of ugly things, a lot of difficult and challenging things. You have to make sure that you maintain your stability and your health. Okay? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to be out here doing your work anyway. So this is just like any doctor, any EMT, or any sort of emergency worker. They take time off every once in a while to go see some other things, go get involved in some other things, take care of themselves, go on vacation, do whatever it is, spend time with your friends, family, in order to sort of stabilize our base, to replenish our energies, to fortify ourselves. Okay, we got to keep our own strength up if we're going to continue this work. So I think this is a very fine reminder. Now, we're going to do an extended reading, okay? But because this is a bonus reading, we're just going to go straight into it, all right? We're going to do Jing HEXAGRAM. We're going to do some oracle cards. If you want to join the channel and have access to all of the extended readings for all of the zodiac signs, you can click on the link in the corner. There's also a link in the video description. New readings for Capricorn usually on Thursdays and Sundays, but this is the bonus reading, okay? And I'm happy that we did this. I like to see this kind of energy is really, it really feels good, you know. So be sure to watch both of your other readings. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together. All right, let's get into it. We're going to do our hexagram. We're going to do our oracle cards. We're going to leave this stuff here so we can see how the energy develops. First, let's select your hexagram from the I Ching. Hexagram 18. All right, there's wind below the mountain. We're removing stagnation. We're untying, we're detoxifying. Yes, well, gosh, if that doesn't resonate with the this idea of rehabilitation or of substance abuse management kind of thing, then I don't know what would. So this feels like it's right on target. At the base of the mountain, there's a wind. Detoxifying. The noble one accordingly rouses the people to foster the virtue. If something is toxic, we are detoxifying it. There is supreme success. It is favorable to cross the great river. Before the starting point, 3 days. After the starting point, 3 days. Okay, so kind of the 3 days reminds me of like doctors and nurses and medical technicians and EMTs and stuff. They kind of do a 3 on, 3 off, 2 on, 2 off, or they do like shift, bigger shifts, like strange shifts like that, right? That you may work 24 hours and then you get 24 hours off. Then you're 24 on, off. It's different like that, yeah? And so that sort of is resonating too. It's kind of like we've got to find the right schedule for us that's going to allow us to continue doing this good work and not burn out, not be depleted, not dim our light, not, lose our vitality. So that's the 4 of Pentacles. And it may not be a normal, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday schedule. Your schedule could be way different. You have to find what works for you. Okay? Inspire others to make them better. Well, that's what we were talking about here. Repairing things can be very successful. Commit to something new and assess the before and after. Wind is stopped short at the base of the mountain, an inversion or a stagnation wanting refreshing. Things need to be in their proper place, in context, not stuck in isolation. Purging of the stagnant may be needed. This calls for a broader context, stimulation, fresh air, reform. Even the shortest moment is 6 days wide. Repair means to set your house in order. Analyze your choices before the renovation and evaluate their consequences afterward. The superior person orders their thoughts and feelings, reforms old attitudes, and strengthens their will. Stimulate the virtue of the people is to rectify the components of your complex. Okay, so analyze your choices before and evaluate their consequences afterward. So you can judge the effectiveness of your service by the results that you get. Okay? And so it's kind of like, are you, you're out here doing your thing. What is the result? What is maybe the 4 of Pentacles? How is it crystallizing? How are things really coming together? So you're judging your labor, you're judging your work by its fruits. Okay? And I think you're having a lot of impact on the world. I really do. We see that this is kind of that stagnant air, right? That we need to clear. We need to clear away, and just and go off of feeling, right? Especially with that devil card, climbing the mountain, right? Is kind of the devil energy, getting to the top of the mountain. This is the air that's kind of that's blocking the way. It's the stagnant air at the base of the mountain. Clearing that air is allowing us to just get to the very top of the mountain. It's like this is a smog, right? That's kind of obscuring our vision. And it's that over-intellectualizing, that left brain, logical, complex thinking that is it's sort of blocking our view of the summit, blocking our view of the true path for us. So that's what we're trying to get rid of. I think this hexagram is really on point, especially with the detoxifying thing. That could be a specific detail about the work you're doing. Okay, let's do an angel number as a mystery card. We're going to do an oracle of empowerment. The community of humanity. I am loved and appreciated by the people in my life. I give the love I want to receive. In faith, I send my love out, knowing that in time I will receive it back. But we don't care about the gratitude. We don't care about the thanks. We're not doing it for reward. It's not a transaction, right? We're giving and giving and giving, and we know that the universe will take care of us. Yeah. So I think that is really on point too. A lot of synchronicity here today. We're going to do an oracle of the radiant sun. Fortune. Our good fortune. The fortunate, right? And as it is related to the solar energy, I feel like we feel very fortunate that there was someone or something there for us when we needed it, when we were in that time of our very dim and diminished light, that something was there. We feel like we were the recipient of very good fortune, and now you're paying that fortune forward. You're trying to be the benefactor for someone else. I like it. Let's do an oracle of creativity. Time. Time can be seen to be both linear and a spiral. Circle back to explore concepts from the past and create the future. Yeah, you're trying to build a better world, trying to make the world a better place. And I think that you're sort of, and I like the idea of the spiral, that we're kind of circling back to things and revisiting things from the past in order to sort of keep things moving forward. I like that. And I think that's in some ways part of our Four of Pentacles as well. Realizing that things have to be done, that there is a cycle to things. Yeah. And, maybe this is kind of like this is like a yearly thing for you. You're going out on this mission of service, that it maybe is every once a year around this time, this is what you do for a couple weeks or a month or something, you know what I mean? So it might be something that's it is more of a cycle for you. I don't know if this is your all day, every day, but it might be something that you do periodically throughout the year or something, yeah. Anyway, future position, Metatron Oracle card. The duality, balance is needed. Yeah. Restoring the balance in people, right? Restoring the proper flow of the chi. And I think putting things back into their original state where things are unified, right? And I think that's kind of, that's what you're doing. You may really be into the Eastern medicine. Maybe you're doing, something like acupuncture, or I don't know if it's the Tai Chi or whatever it is, right? I think that's probably more up your alley. But I think it is about restoring people to wholeness. Yeah, putting people back in balance with their elements, with their energies. Path of the Serpent, we're going to use the Pamela Smith Tarot, as I call it. We start with the Knight of Pentacles, your other Capricorn superpower card. And this is the card of you seeing the future. That's you looking at life and thinking, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing down the road, right? What are my long-term goals? And so it's a way really of coming back to that hexagram that's saying we're judging our labor by its fruit. So we're kind of like looking at the future and thinking, what are the consequences of what I do? So we realize that every thought, word, and deed is creating a future. We want to make sure that we're living a life of love, compassion, joy, devotion, service, because that's the world we want to create. And so I think you really take that seriously. I think you're trying to plant some seeds of really good karma right now, And again, maybe this is a periodic thing. Maybe it's like a once a year thing. This is what we do. It's the way that some families towards the end of the year, December holidays, they might go and really devote some time to charity. They might collect toys for kids. They might go work at kitchens or things like this. They really, I think a lot of us try to find ways to be of service around certain holidays. So that could be part of it as well, right? Next card is the Hierophant. The Hierophant in the environment. Sometimes the Hierophant is it's kind of an outside influence that tells us what we're supposed to be doing. And I feel like in this case, I dropped some cards. I feel like in this case, the Hierophant is sort of representing your reverence for this path. You feel that it is kind of a holy mission for you, right? But I don't feel that there is anything that's compelling you to do this. It could be that there is a, it's not like some people are part of a church, right? And the church will say, hey, okay, it's June, it's your turn to go out and do the charity work, or it's your turn to go volunteer somewhere, But I feel like that's not this. It could be maybe for you, but I feel this is more like we're going and we're putting ourselves in the service of something higher than we are and saying, where am I most needed? It's like we're going to volunteer at a hospital and we're not saying, oh, please, can I work in the neonatal unit, right? Can I go work with the little babies, or can I go work in the kitchen? No, we're going there and we're saying, I'm going to go where you need me to go. I'll do whatever you need me to do. Wherever I am most needed right now is where I'm willing to go. We're not going in and saying, hey, I want to volunteer, but can I work the good job? Can I please work the radio or something, No, it's where am I needed? Where am I going to be of the most use? Yeah. And the other two cards that jumped out were the Queen of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Very, very active cards, okay? The Queen of Wands is kind of impervious to the water. Right? This is someone who is so fixed in their energies that the water is not going to harm them, especially the Seven of Cups. It's not really going to touch them because they're sizzling hot, And so I feel like that's really a high energy, high vitality. It's a lot of fortification against the toxic waters of the Seven of Cups. And so it's your ability to withstand the negative energy and kind of this is the energy that we want to maintain inside of ourselves so that we can continue to do the work we're doing, right? It's kind of a strength that we have here. The Eight of Wands here on top of the Eight of Swords, it's kind of, we're not valuing the thought, we're not valuing the understanding, we're not valuing the mind, the logic, the intellect, the science of something. We're valuing action. And we realize that our impact on the world is not how much we think about doing something. It's about how much we're doing the something. Okay? So actions speak louder than words here for you. Let's look at the mystery card. Let's look at our angel number. 2323, the endless cycles. Well, we understand that there might be that kind of a cycle happening for you where it's just every, some particular holidays or some certain days of the year or whatever it might be for you that are part of this cycle for you, right? Charisma, communication, society, movement, journey, repetitive circumstances and patterns. There's some truth you're resistant to accept over and over again until you're tired and restrained beyond depression. It takes a decision to live life for yourself. Life is all about passion. Then you make a change and the world around you follows. Life is all about passion, right? And that's what we have here. So maybe this was something, again, where your light was very, very dim. Maybe you were in a depression. Maybe you were in an addiction. Maybe you were in a really bad way, right? And your vitality was diminished. But something came and assisted you. Spirit, your own soul, family member, a friend, a stranger, a professional, right? And now you're giving that back. Okay? And now you're spreading that passion forward. You made the change, and now the world around you is going to follow. You're making the world a better place. You're restoring the balance, right? You're paying that energy forward. That good fortune that you received, you're paying it forward, restoring the balance of the world. You made the change. The world around you follows. Life is all about passion. I think that really hits the nail on the head. Now, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you greatly. I love you deeply, and I hope to see you again very soon.